Well, they bring a racehorse from England. Last February. So I send in my application as a professional jockey. But the stable master Ignatius Galt watch me and finding fault. He says, John, I betting you 10 to 1. You too light to make this horse run. I say I light, but I strong. Mister, don't judge me wrong, don't bet me at all. I'm playing jockey from since I small. Because I used to ride goat, dog, mule, hog them fat police horse, and with the length and size of me whip you lost. He said the length of the whip is not all, son, you must ride a horse and don't fall. Your whip could be fat like a mackerel, and you can use it well, you in hell. But anyway, if you want this turbogen, give me a demonstration. So he bring a genie down.
Hi, Sir Martin. This is Mark Mingo, candidate of the UP Party. I would like to invite you to the UP Congress at Ali's Convention Center in Madam Estate. Here you get a chance to meet me in person, to discuss the issues, to discuss the economy, and also to discuss the topics which are actually affecting your life, and to further enlighten you and explain you about the vision and where I, as Mark Mingo, will take the mountain.
Look here, Ignatius, you two blasted advantageous. Them animal are call. I didn't mention donkey at all. What I tell you was good. Dog, mule, hog, don't do me that no boss. Lord, if I tackle donkey, I lost. From donkey, an Iron Man is your name. You call yourself a jockey, but you make everybody.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick, and of course, we continue our summer tour. What happened? Yeah? For real? Theo was where? Sorry, I hear at Bamboo House, and this lady was just telling me that Theo Heilige was on a friend's side today, and I was like, that's impossible because he can't go over to the friend's side. Unless he get one of the new ankle bracelets from the Minister of Justice. Oh no, he case is still no. One, he get convicted already in the first instance. Second instance, in Curacao, he get convicted. Oh yeah, he go in Holland. Okay, yeah, so you're innocent still. Sorry, my bad. All right, so a former member of parliament and, of course, the founder of the United People's Party and now the supporter of the Democratic Party. You see, that was a long title. You want me to say it again? Okay, former member of parliament, founder of the United People's Party. I already lost. And now supporter of the Democratic Party, which his grandfather started. That's a mouthful. Was on Billy D this morning, and he had a lot to say, but nothing to say with just all the complaints of how he's seeing St. Martin deteriorating and how, of course, the DP has a plan or don't have a plan because he hardly mentioned DP in the whole interview. He only mentioned the hijacking of his party. It's like, look how many months it's been since you lost your party and you still complaining. Theo, stop the man. Anyway, I got to give you the highlights of what he said. And then afterwards, my good friend Olivier answer back. And he answered back very nicely. Take a look.
Look, Billy, I can remember sitting in the executive council and people say, oh yeah, that's bad governance and everything like that. You sit with an investor, you even sit with a local person and say, listen, I put them from a building permit, Lord, I just get my loan. How long you think this building permit gonna last? And my grandfather said, man, listen, you start that building, get your money from the bank, and you get your loan going. And you started your project. Now today, it takes you 1 year, Billy,
To get a building
building permit. Let me tell you something, and I've done it, and please
But
don't
wait, the
take
building
me.
permit stops at us. We
Yes,
give the building.
of course.
So why does it take a year?
Because we want to follow policies of that don't work on St. Martin. Let me give you one of the better ones that I have seen. Okay, they want. I read a policy, for example, of the entire Simpson Bay, Cool Bay area. They wanted to keep, and you know, when I say this, Simpson Bay has a small fishing village, and that's how the forward starts out. In keeping with that premise, you drive through Simpson Bay, Billy, and you tell me you see any fishing boat
Come
in anybody's house now that go out on Simpson Bay Beach, and you see the fishing going on there, or you see a one story. Those are nearly gone because the own Simpson Bay people are also developing because they know what tourism means.
Yeah.
You understand? They know also you go into the Airbnb, so people are putting on apartments and things like that. But we haven't adapted the policy for that. So now we stand behind it when it is convenient, and I say that word, convenient. You block certain people, and then you let them go. When Christopher Emmanuel was minister, for example, Cooper Coy had that same thing there. Oh yeah, they wanted to keep everything low. And he told the guys there that just build those 2 towers there. But why you only want 6 floors? Why don't you go 20 floors? And guess what? That's what the man built, 23 floors.
That was a good decision.
The 23 floors gone up, okay? 2 towers of 23 floors.
Correct.
We all know what's going on. So why you don't change the policies, okay? And I'm going to tell you this one because don't take my word for it. The same World Bank, who they are lauding and everything as well, and say, oh, wow, what great progress has happened with the World Bank, okay? The World Bank has said that the bureaucracy in St. Martin takes too long, and they wanted laws to circumvent.
Yep.
So you hear the word, eh?
Circumvent. A big word, eh?
Circumvent the institutional processes of St. Martin. Now, there's another one to me that says what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So if it is good for the World Bank, why is it not good for my population?
Correct.
Why is it not good for them? So, and I've always been against that. If you are saying, like I heard one politician tell me, yes, for building permit, what we should do is introduce an experience fee to get your building permit faster. But why do we need to charge people to get something that they are entitled to? They're entitled to, Billy.
Yeah.
Okay? If you follow the rules and regulations, you are entitled to it. So why you can't get it?
I want to ask this though. All of this that we are talking about could be fixed locally by our government?
Yes. And as they say, the flick of a pen. Flick of a pen. It can be because the minister has the right to do it.
Okay, so now let's go into Olivier's response right away. For those who didn't get to see it, unless you're living off planet, here's a response from Olivier Arinel.
Well. Good morning. Good afternoon from Kinshasa, my people. I'm in the motherland, at the central bank there. That's the Palais. Independent Palace, right here standing up. This morning we had the biggest criminal in St. Martin, one of the biggest criminals in St. Martin that was found guilty of defrauding his people, that was found guilty of sabotaging people, Mr. 10% Theo Heiliger, who was found guilty of crimes against his people. Theo, I have never heard so much nonsense in my life that you have discussed this morning. It seems like you have a little bit of amnesia. Let me tell you why. You went on a radio station, you criticized the tourism office, whereby Clarence Darby is your good friend. You put Clarence Darby's wife and them people there, or his girlfriend, or whatever she named, mingling or swingling. You put them there. Now, you are against them, the very same people you put there. Theo, you have never done a 10% deal with St. Martin people, Theo. You have done deal with white people only. When one roads with your club-to-club business partner? What about the key to Mullet Bay you say you got open? You took $100 million to build a bridge going across from airport to Marigo. Thiefing my idea when I had it under my political party. My idea, you thief. You do it wrong. Instead of taking $100 million and go buy out Mullet Bay today to save the pension fund, you took my idea, took that money, go build the bridge and pocket your 10%. That's why today you got problem with the Dutchman. You went on the radio station talking to Billy D, telling Billy D, oh, this thing about Facebook and blah, 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 blah. Look like I got to run for election because you, William, and Sarah, you had a deal. And the deal you had, and a lot of people know that in St. Martin, is to make sure that Olivier Arundel never run on any one of our political platform. I never run on our political platform. I could run on my own political platform now. So I'm thinking about running just to keep your little 10% ass out. Huh? Because now your wife is no more longer with the up party. She run down back home to Rooster. Suddenly Sarah Westcott is a good lady for you. You're a damn hypocrite to you. All your whole family got rich off of black people. The entire land of St. Martin people y'all took. Y'all took. Your companies. How a politician in St. Martin, a career politician for the past 30 years, could have so much different businesses in St. Martin. Easy. Have a fellow like Miguel de Weaver in power. Have a fellow like Miguel de Weaver India that could issue permits, that could issue business license for you. This is why we got to get rid of Miguel de Weaver. And we have to do an audit to see how all you get all of these different businesses that local St. Martin people can't get. But you're going on the radio station firing shot. You were very passionate this morning. You sound like Olivier. Look like you're copy-pasting me. But that's a good thing because I know you're watching. But I didn't leave you alone. I leave you alone far too long. I'm wiser now. I'm older. St. Martin, don't leave these people fool you. Don't leave these people fool you, St. Martin. They stole from you. They take your land. They take your business. They never give you anything. Anybody that has had any kind of experiences with Sarah, with Theo, with any one of these type of people, y'all know that I'm talking the truth. Y'all know that I'm not lying. Now they want to get rid of the Dutch. Yes, we agree that we have to get rid of the Dutch into our affairs, but we got to get rid of you too. We got to get rid of Sarah too. We got to get rid of all of you corrupt fellows too. Not only the Dutch, we got to get rid of you too. So can you imagine you went in a business deal with your own business partners, which were only Dutch companies, The airport in the condition because of you. The port is in the condition because of you. Because you man set it up that way from the time you was in government. You in government 30 years to you. You can't come tell me for the past 4 years that this government is in place. Yes, they did some shit. Yes, they fuck up a little bit. Excuse my English. But the things that you have done to you, for one, I could talk about my experience. When you laugh and you say about my airline, can't get no in St. Martin, you're right. And when I turn around and I told you, Theo, you're going to end up in jail one day. You remember that day? And Theo, you was drunk that day when we were standing up in the Carnival Village. You forget that. But go and research what is the value of the EBITDA of Ava Airways around the world. Set up blind. You cannot continue lying to the people. Go on a radio station to be emotional so your wife can get some votes on the Democratic Party so you all can end up getting theater again. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work because the Martin people is no more longer stupid. They're no more longer dumb. They're no more longer going to believe your crap. They're going to hold you people accountable. And on that note, I'm waiting for you to fire back so I can fire back and keep it going and keep giving the people of St. Martin the truth. This man really talking about immigration officers? Since when Theo Heiliger care about immigration officers? Since when Theo Heiliger care about permits? Oh, he feel the pressure now. Now he can't get business licenses anymore in less than a day or two. They're taking him 9 months. Oh, karma is a bitch. It is a bitch. It's time to stop it.
Okie dokie. Now, today on the show, we have an interview with suspended Member of Parliament Claudius Buncamper. He's going to talk to us about everything that is happening in St. Martin. Of course, you know, he is well known for every Monday having his podcast, but we decided to invite him here at Bamboo House for some sushi. But apparently, they told me that the kitchen closed. I'm upset, but I'll come back after 5. Okay, make sure that you check out the ladies' night that they have on Saturdays, and of course, go on the Facebook page of Bamboo House for all their specials. Of course, I had to ask MP Buncamper about a relative of him that is running in the upcoming elections. Now, I'm hearing that Melissa Molanas is joining the United People's Party. She didn't say it, but you know me. I always know things. I know things. Anyway, let's go into the break, and when we come back, we're going straight into the interview with MP Buncamper.
Listen, I really don't understand what or how. I really don't understand what, how, who. Somebody get fired. I don't know. Somebody had to get fired. You can't put a sign. Do you see the sign? You know the airport ain't over there, but you still can put a sign saying that the airport is over there. I don't know. Apparently, there were some workers working down by the airport, and they decided to put a sign. They decided to erect some directions that were on a sign to the airport, but apparently the sign was placed in the wrong spot, and it basically said turn right, but the right turn that you would make would be into the lagoon. Listen, I don't know. Maybe they tell the supervisor like, yo, this is the wrong sign. Supervisor said, listen, I don't care, put up the sign. I tell you to do it, and they put up the sign. I really don't know, but it was super hilarious, and a lot of memes were made out of it, and yeah, that was hilarious. You would think people have some more, common sense. Common sense ain't so common.
Oh, man, I gotta reach by the airport fast. Man, I gotta get there fast. What? That's a new way to go by the airport? That's a new sign? Okay.
Take a chip now. Shake it. Young DJ plays. Run and tell them I say we are the sound them selectors play. Every day, making you sweat. And when the girl them tell it, and shadow dingole, DJ plays what to say. We are the sound of soca. Big bad soca. Big bad soca.
To all my fans in St. Martin, Saint Martin, Mabvini, don't forget, Kai will be in St. Martin exactly on August 4th. Le 4 août, Cap Saint Martin, Martin Francisco, grand ticket bonheur, nous allons faire une grosse fête, une belle fête, prendre plaisir nous, net, jusqu'à ce que nous ne soyons pas capables.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
I am Rolando Bryson, Member of Parliament and leader of the United People's Party. On behalf of the Deputy Leader Omar Otley, the Board of the United People's Party, and our entire membership, it is my pleasure to invite you to the upcoming United People's Party Congress on August 13th at the Elise Convention Center in Madame Estate from 5 p.m. At this Congress, we will review the hard work and accomplishments of the United People's Party both in the Parliament and the government. We'll introduce you to our new logo, our new social media and website, and also to our new candidates, and hear from our existing candidates about our plans for the upcoming parliamentary elections in 2024. We'll also have keynote speakers that will deliver the message of hard work and inclusion that the United People's Party stands for. Remember, we are your representatives, and this is your home, your party, your United People's Party. So we look forward to having you with us at the United People's Party Congress on August 13th at the Ali's Convention Center in Madame Estate from 5 p.m., where we tell you how and why we still going up.
When the ping pong say boom and the bass drum say boom, coming down the road with our smile. When we feeling the beat and the music so sweet, we walk 100.
Late Night Summer Tour continues. Of course, we are coming for you from Bamboo House, Hot Bamboo House, but it's still Bamboo House. Make sure you check out their lovely sushi that they have here, an assortment of good treats. And I had to bring you a big treat to Bamboo House. One of the big fishes. You know, you can't catch this one in the water because they're going to give you some trouble, boy. You give you some trouble, you can't catch this one. Of course, the Deputy Leader of the Now and, of course, Member of Parliament, Claudius Buncamper. Good day to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Andrew. How are you doing?
You know, I on summer tour, and I decided, you know, I got to make sure, give everybody some time, you know, give the pulse of the people what the latest is, what's going on. Of course, you continue to inform us on a weekly basis with the podcast. Thank you so much for that, because I learn more in the years that I've been in politics from you in the 2 hours or 3 hours that you do your podcast every Monday.
Well, thank you. I try to, you know, look, the podcast is something that I used to do it when I was in office, but it was less frequent. It was really if there was an event and I didn't have the floor. I had the floor of Parliament that time, so I could easily go to the floor. But sometimes you still want to give a little extra and break it down in such a way that you don't have the time in Parliament or you didn't have the information that time. So that's how the podcast was born, actually. But when I got suspended, I wanted to ensure that I didn't lose touch with the people of St. Martin. So I decided to do the podcast. And it was basically, I started off with, you know, looking at the newspapers from Monday to Friday, take out the highlights, compile them, but also look at the story, because not every story is the full story. And you come from the media world, you know that sometimes sensationalization of a story trumps the truth of the story, and that's sometimes so unfortunate. But it is a reality. It sells the paper, it sells the broadcast. So the media will do what the media has to do to survive. But I will also then do what I believe is best for the public of St. Martin by giving them the information as accurate as I can. I do my research. Remember those days, I didn't have no political affiliation of, I was wondering if I could run again or not. No. It was just, let me get the information out there and keep it as truthful as I can, you know. And you listen to people, sometimes they tell you something, you say, I don't think that's true. And it makes you go back, and when you do the research, you like, realize, boy, the spin doctors, I thought they used to be out of office, but a bunch of them are in office now.
And you got people coming out of the woodwork, you know, coming in and giving their take on what's going on in
Everybody has a right to voice their opinion. I always say, when you voice your opinion, at least don't voice it for the sensation of it. Voice it because you want to make a difference. You truly want to mean different to what we have right now. Not everything we have is good, but not everything we have is bad either. So you got to be able to be honest enough when you do a podcast to say, I will praise you for this, but I will be critical, and critical with you on this matter. And I look at it from the legal aspect, from the policy aspect that you said as government, this is what we are going to do. So if this is what you're going to do and you're not doing it, then I'm going to call you out on it. And some people get offended. Oh, you're picking on this one. Oh, I ain't picking on nobody.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for example, my little friend Durant, is I come from that ministry. So I know that ministry in and out for 24 years.
Yeah.
You ain't going to pull no wool over my eyes and you're going to come and give me no Nancy story and believe I ain't going to say nothing about it. So he sometimes gets more attention than others would get because I'm not versed in every ministry. I'm well versed in a lot of it, but I'm not versed in everything. So, like when you take Bearing Point, for example, I have a lot of respect for the Minister of Finance, but there's a lot that's not kosher in the Bearing Point case. And it's unfortunate that we have taken the country 2 steps back in this whole tax plan that we were going to have. Because remember, it is not the Bearing case point that bothered me so much. It is the time that we have lost playing these games of cat and mouse. Because when you read the verdict of the judge, there are a few things that are so difficult to swallow. And one of them is there was no reason to stop the Bearing Point contract. This is the judge. The judge says that the Jacobs cabinet was very vague in their reasoning to stop it. That's one.
Yeah.
2, you end up now paying 12, 13 million guilders to Bearing Point in a lawsuit. Plus, you got to pay the new company that come in a 15 million. So you're back to the 30 million that Bearing Point had asked for in day one. The difference is we are 5 years further.
Yeah.
How much money have we lost in these 5 years had this program been implemented, had the country moved forward? Remember, BZK was in favor of Bearing Point and opted to pay. Remember they made 30 million available?
Yeah.
Good. That 30 million was the contract from Bearing Point. The Dutch had agreed with it. They came in and they changed it. And where are we today? As soon as the Dutch realized what was happening with this whole tax thing, they pulled the money and said, we're going to put it in Coho.
Yeah. Right. Because we entrusted you. We entrusted you. We entrusted you with
People
it.
forget what really happened. But if we were to make 30 million a year in additional tax revenues, and we have now been off limits for 3 years, 4 years, that's about 90 to 120 million guilders we could have made in additional taxes. And that's my problem with Bearing Point. It's not about the minister, it's not about the company, it's about what's happening to the country
and how it was handled.
Unnecessarily.
And how it was handled.
Yes, it's all unnecessary.
Now, the No Party, how things going? We hearing different things, so you can at least tell us what's true, what's not true. You forming with DP, yes or no?
Again, we haven't even had elections, Andrew, and people want to talk about we farming with a... Look, to my knowledge, and I'm speaking now as Claudius Buncamper, I'm not speaking as the deputy leader because we haven't had this meeting with the party about who we join in with. There were rumors that the USP was going to join us. There were rumors the doctor was going to join us. There were rumors that the DP is going to join us. When you said join, what do you mean? That somebody leaving their name behind and they coming to the Now Party? Or is the Now Party dropping its name and going to... If that is the case, the answer is no.
Okay.
The answer is no. The Now Party is running the elections under the Now.
Okay.
There is going to be, to my knowledge, all the meetings I've had with the leader of the party, at no point in time have we discussed that. That parties might come together after the elections, that's a different story. Now, a lot of people, the old political strategy was always form alliances before the election start.
Yeah.
And I always say, you're going to elections, you're going to go to win.
Yeah.
Don't
go to
make alliances that you then deceive your voters.
Yeah.
Because they said, if I knew they were going to do that, I would have never voted for them. Listen, you're going as the Now, and when you win as the Now, because we are going to win, we are going to get seats. I'm not talking about one seat.
No.
I'm talking about seats. I use in plural. We are going to get it, and we are going to be sitting at the negotiating table to form the new government. Then you will look what's best for your country. Not what's best for your party, how much ministers you can pull out of it. What's best, which combination would be best for country St. Martin moving forward. That's what I stand for, and that's what the Now stands for.
No, of course, as far as the candidates is concerned, there is, of course, yesterday I had the privilege of interviewing one of the new candidates who's very close to you. Why is she not going on the no party? What is the is why were we splitting families now, Mr. MP Buncamper?
Okay,
What are we doing?
first of all, you're talking about a niece of mine.
Yes, and your
And
niece.
4 years ago, she wanted to run. And I had asked her to step back because I was running. And she humbly did so. She has a desire to serve her people too. It would be unfair of me to ask her to step back again. So I will wish her all the best wherever she goes. I think she is running with a different party. I didn't hear my party's name fall. But again, at the end of the day, it is that she stands for what she believes in, and she goes out and sells her program. I wish her all the best. You know, it's no hard feelings for me. I understand in every country, it is the norm that parties always try to ensure that they balance families and that all the votes of one big family don't go one place.
Yeah.
So you see, you got about 15 Richardsons running on the different parties because it's a big family. You understand?
Yeah.
And then you have Flemings or whatever. But it's normal. But no, I wish her all the best. I really wish her all the best.
You see, man, I can't trip up MP Buncamper, you know. I can't trip him up at all.
But there's nothing to trip there.
I understand. I understand. No, of course, this government, the elections, it's pretty sad that up to now we can't get a day for the elections, and it looks like we've been getting issues with the press briefings for the past 2 weeks, whereby it's being cancelled at the last minute. Today, reporters arrived, ministers came late, and then at the last minute, they decided to cancel it again. And when we ask questions concerning the elections, or at least postulation, at least give us a timeline, we get we get annoyance, we're annoying them because it's almost as if it's not owed to the people of St. Martin when it comes to the elections. Like, it has to come. You can't run away from it.
Two things there, Andrew. Look, elections are every 4 years, which means the next election should be someplace in January 2024. The previous one was January 8th and 9th, I believe, 2020.
Yeah.
And there's an X amount of days in between. You got to do it. Postulation, I believe, is 90 days before election. So calculate yourself any place in October, postulation to take place. There's a little bottleneck. So right now, the Prime Minister is running with the concept of, listen, stop asking, January is elections.
Yeah.
Reality check, Madam Prime Minister. Elections in Holland are in November. And guess what? Right now, there's no fix yet with liquidity support. There's no fix. If the end of August, there's no fix, I think the Prime Minister knows just as good as me and anybody else that follows the Dutch media that the second chamber will put the debating of the liquidity loans on hold.
Yeah.
It means that come October 2023, St. Martin as country will default on the loans, and St. Martin will lose its financial position in this world, which will affect the airport, which will affect GB and TLM and all those different companies that have loans with ratings on Moody. Today, America lost its AAA rating and it became a AA+ rating because they have been doing bad financially for the past 2 decades. St. Martin has a problem, not of its own making necessarily that this government caused the 1.3 or 1.5 billion deficit, but this government unfortunately did sign the bullet loans agreeing to October 2023 during their governing period that they would mature. And unfortunately, the economic recovery has not taken off the way they thought. Last year, 10 years.
Yeah.
This year is going to be 3% increase alone of the economy, and it might shrink yet depending on how this second or third or fourth quarter of...
They're looking good so far, but anyway.
With America sneezing, we pick up a cold, and now you notice fuel gone up again.
Yeah.
So with fuel going up, a lot of things will get more expensive again, including GB, including groceries, including transportation. Those are 3 things that hit you right away.
Yeah.
So the government's going to have a problem to deal with this and sell this if the Dutch government that is elected is a more right government than it is right now. which means, and that's how it's looking right now, the BBB, the Partij van de Boeren, these people did such a significant impact in the first chamber elections that they might do the same thing in the second chamber. Now, that party is, you're talking about people that think a lot like the far right.
I was just about to say.
And then you might have a problem where they're going to say, listen, we don't want nothing to do with these people down in the Caribbean. Let them pay what they owe us and let them go their way.
Go their way.
So I don't think the Prime Minister wants to have that discussion during her election from November to January.
Yeah.
So I have a strong feeling that our elections is going to be close or around the Dutch elections. I sincerely believe that. They will use the excuse of, then the Christmas is taken out of the arena, people can have a decent Christmas, everybody's relaxed. Whatever excuse it is, the media asking for clarity, it should be given.
Yeah.
And she said, though, in August, I will let you all know when the election date is.
It's August now.
If you take August and you put 3 months on that, you're in November.
Exactly.
Good. So if she says postulation is the 15th or the 21st, 22nd or the 29th of August, then so be it. 90 days later, there's election. And that the Dutch election just passed, they will have enough play yet to be able to maneuver. I want to believe that's what's going to happen. That's what I can read in between the lines when it comes to the election and the politics of the matter.
All right. Education is something that continues to suffer on the island with back to school happening, summer. Just barely survived summer, now going back to school. We noticed that some MPs, particularly MP George Pantuflet, wrote a roaring letter to the editor where he said that, it's going to be scary for the parents this school year because of the amount of school fees and everything gone up and everything is expensive. And I said to myself, this must be the first time ever that we start in school in St. Martin. What do you think about the education and the ability of a MP that supports the government? Yes, he's being vocal about it, but he could do more.
Not being vocal, it means he's being sarcastic, in my opinion. Because if he wanted to be vocal and if he wanted to make an impact, he should have asked that there was a budget amendment made. We all know things are tough. So how many people we have going to school? 8,000, 10,000 students? Say all school fees cost 500 guilders, average across the board. You got 10,000, put a 5 in front of that, that's 50,000, put 2 zeros behind it, 5 million guilders. Find 5 million guilders and put it into the school system. Then don't build a road or don't build something. Stop flying all over the place. Stop keeping all kind of things that you don't need to and put the money into the education if you really want to make a difference. But you see, in St. Martin, we have what we call the blah, blah, and V. We keep talking because people like to hear it. We got free hair trims. We got school bags. We're giving out all kind of things. But the one thing we are not doing is packing up the Minister of Education that has the education system in a fiasco. The man wants to change the top brass of the education world right now while we are busy reconstructing the education ministry and field. There was a country package. A whole review was done. They're working on everything. And he wants to change the players midstream.
Yeah.
And nobody says nothing. And everybody looking up, okay, let me go do some hair trimming and let me go do a little bag here. Listen, we can't be serious when we behave this way and then we put out a newspaper article, parents are panicking. Parents ain't panicking. Parents don't have work that is giving them enough money to pay the school fees. So you're not fixing that economically either. No, what you're going to do is create a bigger marketplace so we can put more vendors there. Vendors that don't even make minimum wage. We are not serious. We are not diversifying our economy. We are not trying to find new niches. We are not doing that. And if we don't do that, we're going to remain the same way we are right now. And then we want to cry about crime, and we want to cry about high prices in the stores, and we want to cry about the education system, but we are not doing nothing. We're not doing nothing. We're not doing anything to fix it. And I'm not saying, it's the minister's fault alone. No, because it's not. One minister don't run this country, even though one believes he is, but they don't. It is the Council of Ministers that runs it.
Solutions.
There are solutions. Look, let me explain you a few things. If you speak with the Dutch, Because you have to learn to work with them.
Yeah.
We can fight them all we want,
Yeah.
but we are not in their position economically nor financially. None of the two. So we can talk to them and say, listen, we owe you money. We know we owe you a lot of money come October.
Yeah.
But can we get the money that we had to pay you back and invest it into education? Can we get, like in Curacao, that's what they're doing. Curacao spoke to them. Ask them, let us use the money into our educational system so we can rebuild and enhance. But we don't do nothing. We don't even have a discussion with them. That is a simple way of getting a few million guilders to alleviate the problem. Listen, you know how many children go to school hungry every day?
Yeah.
So you worry about school fee, you better start worrying about people eating.
Yeah.
Because when people don't eat, people don't get angry because they want to take care of the child.
Man, yeah.
And they start to do bad things.
Yeah.
Now, I am not going to justify the robberies, the gun robberies with people, because these youngsters, they're just looking for easy cash.
Yeah.
I think we have, though, a structural problem when it comes to the whole social well-being of 70+% of our community.
So talk to the Dutch.
I have spoken out about it. 70% plus of our community earns less than $3,500 a month, which is the livable wage in Curacao. We're supposed to be 16.3% higher, but let's stick to the 3,500. 70% of the working population of St. Martin, insured by SNV, earns less. But you worrying and you wondering about a market or about a road, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious.
This morning on Billy D, the Theo Heiliger was on. He spoke about some solutions, some problems, his observation on how things are going, and of course, because it's a political season, people still regard him as influential in the whole political structure. However, he's not running, so it's like almost a moot point. Did you get to listen to it?
No, I did not. They sent it to me. I will listen to it eventually. But I think you said it correctly. Look, everybody has a time. There's a time you're in season, there's a time you're out of season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of controversy. He has had a court case just like me, and he has now a sentence that I think they're working on.
Yeah.
No, I think the former MP has a lot of knowledge of what can be done and how it can be done. The problem is those that need to listen to the knowledge and implement the knowledge are not going to do that.
Yeah.
There's a major fight between him and the party he came from. So I think they use the word hijacking and all those type of things.
Yes, leadership and so on.
And I'm saying, listen, that ain't going to help St. Martin. That discussion ain't going to help St. Martin. You know which discussion will help St. Martin? The one we're going to have in The Hague, and figure out how do we move from here forward? How do we work on our social economics? And social economics, you want to fix it? Then let's fix things that we can fix, but we don't want to fix. Like agriculture, like fisheries, like animal husbandry. Those things we can fix. We have people that do planting. We have people that have animals. We have people that have boats. Why can't we structure that?
Yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel.
And let me go straight into where I wanted to go a long time ago. Why are we missing out on the $1 billion industry weed?
The cannabis.
Why are we missing out? We have people that import it here. We have people that plant it here. We have people that distribute it here. And we have a lot of people that smoke it here. But you know what? We got to bring in Canadians to do it for us. We got to give somebody a dig in someplace to get a little something. I got a fundamental problem with that.
Yeah.
I spoke about it. I asked the government, please introduce the tolerance policy. There is not, you know who has to agree with it? The Prosecutor General. That's it.
That's it.
Once the Prosecutor General agrees that they are not going to charge people for smoking or having less than 5 grams on them, the judge can't pick you up on the road and say, I'm going to send you to jail now. No, the prosecutor got to bring the case. So if the prosecutor doesn't bring the case, there is no case. That's the tolerancy. So it's the Prosecutor General in Curacao that has to address this, and this was supposed to be addressed. But the Minister of Justice promised me so long ago, and a promise sometimes a comfort to a fool, but I'm not a fool. So I am going to call them out because we have time to do all kind of different things. to mess up the people.
We actually be building a prison. We're going to build a prison.
Because we prefer to build a prison than to take care of our people in our country. And that's unfortunately.
Oh, my gosh. All right. As far as the campaigning is concerned for the Now Party, are you? It's ongoing. So, what are some of the events that is coming up?
Look, we have a good bit of candidates now that we have to roll out, and the leader is preparing the rollout together with the board. We're going to be showing, I believe, about six to seven new faces in the coming month and a half. We have some nice, talented people that have joined the party. You know, in politics, they always tell you, postulation is, you know, who you have and who you don't have. Because families, they start to fight. And that's why candidates don't like to be shown too early, because families then start to try to interfere and block it. You know, like I said, my niece, I wish her well. I'm not going to interfere. I wish them well. I think families should wish their family members that want to step into the arena and try to do something good for this country. They should wish them well and support them instead of trying to fight them and tell them you're running with the wrong party, you should be running with that one. No, they are running with where they feel comfortable, where they feel at home. Your manifesto determines a lot for you.
Correct.
And I always tell people, financial independence is the best independence you can have.
Hence the reason for the party name. Yeah.
Nation, opportunity, and wealth. And we want to ensure that we can bring financial independence to this country. We all want to be our own boss. To be our own boss, we got to be able to pay our own bills and stop asking for grants and gifts and all kind of things.
Yeah.
That's what the NOW stands for. That's where we want to go. But to achieve that, you're going to have to make sacrifices and you're going to have to make some harsh decisions. You're going to have to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, then this is the wrong profession for you.
The decolonization or the charter review or the thinking of becoming a community in the whole Dutch system. What's your stance? What's your party stance on that?
I think there is no stance because that is not a choice for the party. That is a choice for the population of St. Martin to make. What we have to do is in the program, when you form a governmental program, if we have campaigned on it and if we agreed on it, then have a referendum. Let the people of St. Martin voice their position on, do I want to be the second S in best? Do I want to remain what I am? Do I want independence? Do I want a municipality in Holland directly with Holland? Look, there are choices you can make.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, to go out and say, oh, this is what I stand for. No, I can't stand for something if we have never spoken to the people about it.
Okay.
We have the Independence Committee that has a position on it. They were in Parliament, and I think let a referendum determine that. And that's what I said. When you want to speak about independence, there should be a path to independence. And one of those paths is a referendum. The people must speak. Personally, I think a lot of people are very scared right now on giving up a passport, not knowing what's on the other side of the fence, seeing the situations that we have in the world when it comes to price control. Remember, we have no say in these things. When it comes to wars, protecting yourself, I mean, look, if Russia could go into a big country like Ukraine, what does it mean for another country coming in St. Martin and say, okay, I'm going to take you over?
I'm going to take it over. Or you can't have it on yourself.
Or the French say, well, let me make this now St. Martin complete. You know, again, there are a lot of things that you have to look at when you have these discussions. I think sometimes people simplify things too much and not
without actually
explaining the population what's the pros and the cons, you know? And you have to look at it from a holistical view. And this government doesn't have that helicopter view yet.
I was just about to say...
They don't have the helicopter view to go down that road, so please, we won't be hearing about it. No, you won't be hearing it now for sure.
Yeah, it's just we try to cover all the hot button topics from this campaign that is coming. The last but not least is this week we broke a story. Late night broke a story of the Dr. Rhoda Ironell going to the Howard University for a year to do lecturer there, to be a lecturer there. And of course it came with some people say it's bittersweet, some people say, you know, we're losing a St. Martiner to the world, it's brain drain. But what do you personally think about it? What do you personally think about it, Andrew?
First of all, I don't think we have a brain drain. Let me explain why we don't have a brain drain. We are so digitalized that we can have Facebook discussions with classrooms. So brain drain, no, there is none.
Zoom, Facebook, everything.
I think it's more a matter of pride, country pride. Here we have one of the few doctors, professors with a PhD.
Yeah.
And mind you, she did it in Caribbean language, colloquial St. Martin English. She majored in that, she doctorate, her PhD in that in Puerto Rico at the university. Rhoda's a hardworking person, knows her onions well. Rhoda has political views that some people don't support. But again, you cannot punish people because of their political views. Just respect them and differ. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's for a year. I hope that within a year, there'll be a new government sitting, a new policy on how we should move forward with languages, tertiary education, and we should be able to find a place for our Dr. Arundel in our community, even if it's in government running a linguistic department. And really, you know, we don't do what we can do. We only jump up and try to say, oh God,
After
look
the
what
fact.
happened
After.
the fact.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saying this is the problem I have. We don't have proactive thinking. We have a reactive thinking and an action that we do. Only when things go wrong, then we come forward and we start to complain. That's why in my podcast, when I am critical about something, I've always made it my business to give a solution and say, you can do this or you can do that. Not everything might be possible, but at least I don't want to just criticize without giving a solution, a plausible solution that I believe can work and, you know, can materialize.
Thank you so much for coming on the late night tour. Of course, this was good. We gotta have you back. Of course, we will have you back. You know, because we gotta see you in the trenches for the upcoming election period. It's already started. What do you say to all the candidates out there, MP Buncamper?
You know, let me look at you straight and say this. Politics doesn't need to be a nasty game. We can make it as nasty as we want, but that will be to the detriment of country St. Martin. I think when you come with your story, when you come with your solutions, come with honesty. Show what can be done. Show how you plan to do it. Now has a manifesto that we believe will work. We are going to show our manifesto to the world, not only to all you here, because it's going to be online, so the world can look at it, including the Dutch, those in Aruba and Curacao. But you must remember this. You're running elections for the Senate of St. Martin, the Parliament of St. Martin, not for a minister's position, not for anything else. You must be willing to understand what you're postulating yourself for and what is required of you. A lot of hard work and a lot of honesty. And if you really have that intent, then yes, the elections is a good place to go and try to win the votes from the people. Because people have changed. The Johnny Cake and Chicken Leg era is over. And people are going to offer you money. They're going to offer you money for your vote. Take it and burn them when you reach the poll. Because if they believe you worth $300 for 4 years, that means that's $75 a year. That's divided now by 365 days. You're going to notice that you won't even worth a decent pot. That is when you take money. Then you can't ball what you get.
I think a helicopter just passed from the government with the helicopter view.
It is what it is, Andrew. It is what it is.
All right. Until tomorrow, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hi, darling. I'm fine. Just calling to say hi.
Oh, okay. We got over here.
Girl, I hear watching this movie and it.
But, Mom, you finished all your minutes yet?
No, girl. Talem has new postpaid plans and automatically upgraded my postpaid package.
Is that so? Guess what?
I am getting more minutes and almost double the amount of data for the same price.
I guess I'm making a switch now. Let me call you back, Mom. Hey, Tash, you hear about Tell new postpaid plans?
I said shut your mouth, 'cause you were begging me to walk you out.